You're listening to a production of the We Can Make This Work Podcast Network.
Welcome, dear friends, to the Taviren, a Wheel of Time podcast hosted by three gentlemen for whom the very wheel itself bends around. Without further ado, here are your hosts, Bill, Rob, and Rich.
Hello, and welcome to the very last episode of Book 1 of The Eye of the Motherfucking World.
Yay!
Start as we mean to go on. I'm going to swear. Guys, how's it been?
Motherfucking awesome, man.
I miss you.
Ages. It's been ages, man. It's been so long.
All three of us again. Three caballeros.
I know, just like in the book, they finally met up.
Yes.
You know, Rich ended up in the Arenal.
Naturally.
Cold and wet.
Naturally.
Me and Rob caught the boat.
I got the farmer's daughter chasing after me.
Yep, I've been playing with my. I've been polishing my dagger all the way, and yeah, we finally got together, made it through the ways, and here we are. Here we are in the blight, the wonderful, wonderful blight. But
Wait, are you
anyway,
talking about? Are you talking about the book? Or are you talking about real life?
real life?
Yeah, because that's where we are
living
right
in
now
blight,
too. Is in
aren't
the
we? Yeah.
blight's right outside, right?
Yeah, it's all right, you know. But I've got a nice little spider plant growing on my desk. It's doing really well.
I'm wearing my mask, so sorry if I sound ruffled. I don't know where you guys have been, so I'm wearing my mask.
It's transmitted digitally now. Did you not know that?
Well, yeah, that's what Bill Gates is transmitting it digitally because he's the Antichrist. That's what I heard.
Sure. That's exactly right.
Anyway, you've reached the Taviren, a Wheel of Time podcast.
Yep, where we go through the Wheel of Time books, one chapter. Well, normally one chapter at a time, but we're going to be smashing out 3 today, aren't we, lads?
Yes.
Smash it.
Smash
Hulk
it.
Smash.
Hulk smash. So we've got no whatchamacallit. There's no iTunes reviews. But so next season, guys, you're all going to be punished for that.
Yes,
And
I gotta work
think-
I gotta work my pipes as they say in the biz.
Yep, or I may work my pipes as well. I might give you the
Oh
time
dear.
off. So yeah, see how much we want to punish the people. And there's no Wheel of Time news. There's no special news as well segment that I've been doing recently.
Oh, I love those. Were you just grabbing a book from your daughter's bookshelf and then reading from there?
I think I might do in the future. No,
I thought that's what it was last time. I thought you just randomly grabbed a book from her shelf and just started reading.
no. Last time I gave her tips on what to do while you're locked indoors.
That's what I thought was a random email you got.
You know, like it's new fashion tips about wearing your dressing gown for like 4 days in a row. And you know,
Inside, outside.
why do you need to change your socks every day? No one's going to notice.
My wife notices.
But yeah, she won't notice your underpants. It's fine. But yes, so there's nothing to do really. So we're just going to go. Well, actually, first of all, here's a quick couple of words from our sponsors.
Do you like video games? Ever thought about making a video game? Do you find that a week or 2 weeks is kind of short for a game jam? Well, have I got the game jam for you with the We Can Make This Work Probably Game Jam. The jam runs from April 20th to June 9th to provide a nice amount of time for you to make something cool. And the theme is, if you can smell that fart, you're not far enough apart. Shout out to the Lebanon, Maine Fire Department for this meme. Check out the link in the description for more information and to figure out how to join and submit. Have fun!
Yep, that was that. So just a quick reminder, network-wise, we've got our Probably Work Jam, which started 2 days ago, so 4 days ago, as of when you'll hear this recording. So that's our game jam. So if you any budding game developers out there want to get involved, it runs until June, I think. The 6th? I can't remember.
June 9th. I can't.
June 9th.
We're explicit, so we can explain that. The start date is 4/20, and the end date is 6/9. Wink, wink, yeah, jiggity, jiggity.
And also, Pete Bourgelais, who's one of the guys on our network, is also running to be a representative for the state of Maine. So again, people in the state of Maine. He needs some small $5 donations to unlock like $2,000 worth of clean election funding. And I think he's only got a few to go. So if you do want, he's going to be trying to get you guys really good internet in some of the more rural areas and some extra dental care on your health plans as well. So, you know, if you want to go and support him, go to maine.gov/cleanelections. And it's only $5, and if that gets you better internet, what's the loss?
Hey, Rich, you ever been to Maine?
Where's Maine at? That's a state?
Oh.
I'm kidding. It's up
You
north.
just alienated our entire Maine fan base.
But like 5 of them?
Oh, come on.
Isn't don't the New England Patriots represent them as well?
Yeah,
they are part of New England. Careful with the New England Patriots talk.
Yeah,
but
easy.
I've been to Maine once about 20 years ago, and it's very beautiful up there. Although it's winter, probably 9 months of the year, it's still a very beautiful country up there.
Yeah, like I say, well, to support Pete, you do have to be part of a certain housing district, but I don't know what. I can't be bothered to read off of all of them. There's so many of them. But
I can tell you one little.
Listen to the episode 3 episodes back where I explain it all.
My one little Maine anecdote. The town that I visited was Bangor, Bangor, and this is no joke. The name of the paper there is the Bangor Daily.
That sounds like a porn town. I'm just gonna throw that out there.
Oh, but it's pretty funny to say, hey, you guys read the Bangor Daily? No.
You guys been to Bangor today?
You banging today?
I'm banging today. You banging today?
Anyway, so we're reading a book, right?
Yes. So so last week I covered chapters 50, Meetings at the Eye, and this week we're going to go over chapters 51, Against the Shadow, 52, There is Neither Beginning Nor End, and chapter 53, The Wheel Turns. So here
we're
we
doing
start.
a trifecta today, huh?
Yeah, trifecta. We're gonna finish this. Well, it's rare the 3 of us get together, so let's do it.
Exactly.
So Against the Shadow, chapter 51 of The Eye of the World.
So where we left off, Rand was being chased by Agenor?
Agenor.
He was running uphill. He was against all logic. Rand climbed faster and faster. Out of the children's stories, one of the actual Forsaken was chasing him, and he's in this surreal moment of like everything that he's seeing over the first 50 chapters, and he still is like, I can't believe I'm being chased by a Forsaken. This is the stupidest thing. I can't believe this is happening to me.
Bonkers.
Bonkers. He just climbs and climbs and climbs, and he gets to a sheer cliff, right? It's like a 100-foot drop straight down, and he
notices Moraine is no longer screaming in the background as well.
Oh, that's right. That was, yes, because when I read that the first time, I'm like, no, not her.
Poor Moraine.
And the fact that Lan went down like a sack of potatoes so easily, it's like that's when you're like, oh shit, kind of moment, because that doesn't happen. Lan is the man, and to see him just go down in a heap with a flick of the finger. Yes.
Suddenly, the actual Dark One, Agenor, catches up with him.
Yes.
And he's kind of like talking to himself, isn't he? Going, "Hey, Beelzebub will reward me. Why should I share the power with you? Who are you?" And he also, like, how powerful. Like, I always used to think Agenor was kind of like one of the because he shows up here. Yeah. At the very beginning, he's like one of the first.
They say something to the
one
fact
of the really weak ones.
Well, they said something to the fact that he was buried close to the surface, or something to that effect. So him and Balthamel were the first two to surface because they weren't buried as deep as the others. I guess was the wording that was used.
Yeah, I didn't understand that, but all right.
Yeah, you don't get that, but he mentioned that at least once.
Yeah, I kind of thought it was based on power, but obviously not, because this guy talks about, Lord of the Morning.
Yes. Who is that? What is it? Oh, this is about the time that Rand first notices the cord attached to the back of the Forsaken. It's a pulsating cord attached to something unseen off in the distance.
Yes.
And then
like a leash.
Ethernet connection? I was going to say Ethernet connection, but...
Yeah. It's like being powered. Yeah, it's like being jacked into the land, isn't
it? What?
The land.
Oh.
The local area network.
That land.
Yeah, that land, not the other land. Not Mandragon.
So then a tendril from that cord attaches itself to Rand. So it was like the cord is attached to Agenor, and Rand's like, what is that? All of a sudden, a piece of it peels off, or it detaches itself from Rand and detaches from Agenor and connects to Rand. And
reminds me of Mashadar.
Kind of like the tendrils.
Yeah, that's kind of how I imagine it. You know, like
Yes.
when they were back in that Forsaken City.
And I remember Agenor's reaction of the cord attaching to Rand and being like, oh, no, this is mine, you know. And then Rand and Agenor have what I call a battle of the wills. It ends with Agenor screaming in flames, and Rand finds himself transported to the Battle of Tarwin's Gap. It seems like,
or should we say Battle of the Bills?
Back at the Bills.
Battle of the Bills. That's what I like to say.
Battle of the Bills instead of the Battle of the Wills. So from viewing it, the two guys are just kind of, if you didn't have any foresight or anything, it looks like two guys just staring at each other doing nothing.
So should I explain what actually happens here?
Please, because I'm doing a horrible job of it.
Because it's just very confusing. I've had to read this like 4 or 5 times to actually get it in my head what actually happens. So Agenor is actually drawing power not from the one source, but from the pure Stadin that's held at the Eye of the World. That's what that cord and tendril is. It's like the pure, untainted version of the source.
Yes.
And then when it sort of suddenly starts to attach itself to Rand, and Rand starts to pull from it, he gets very upset, and then they both start drawing from it at the same time. And Agenor actually ends up drawing so much of it that he burns himself out. At which point, then Rand is the only one using it, and then just randomly transports to Tarwin's Gap for some reason.
Well, I think he believes
the only bit where it's just like conveniently just happens to go where the big fight's happening.
I know. I think Rand in himself thought he was dreaming the whole thing, or he was envisioning the battle, not that he was physically there.
Especially when the Stairway to Heaven appears in front of him.
Oh, don't get me started saying that song. That is not our punishment song. Although that would be a good song to cover. We could factor that in somewhere.
Yeah. I think we should add that as a patron. and he's walking the stairway to be
to the Creator. Oh God. So as we mentioned, Rand finds himself not just at Tarwin's Gap, but literally in between the Faldarans and the Darkspawn. So he's literally just in the middle, and he's like, whoops, how did I get here? Both sides are regrouping. So they just finished a skirmish, and they're kind of regrouping to tend to the wounded, to regroup and to re-engage each other. Rand does notice that even though the Faldarans are holding their own and fighting valiantly, the numbers are definitely on the side of the dark forces. Just Trollocs and Kevins and Drakars flying around. And a couple of the Dragars flying around see this random human in the middle of the battlefield, and about 5 or 6 of them decide to investigate, circle around Rand, and then they all seem to swoop in for the kill. And my note here says, bad idea.
Bad idea.
What happens when those Drakkar try to descend upon Mr. Althor?
He descends upon them. He just wipes the floor of them.
He feels a burning heat, and he calls down lightning to just eviscerate the Drakkar. When was the last time lightning was used to help Rand?
To blind Matt for 3 days, so he would shut up for a bit.
I know what that is.
Yes, sir.
It's
Rich has the floor.
It's bad weather. No. It's the Aes Sedai. They're coming in to help.
No. It's Rand. He is using the one power.
Oh.
He's calling lightning, which is what he did back in 4 Kings to escape the cellar with him and Matt. And it blinded Matt for a couple of days.
Oh, I thought he was also Thor, but all right.
Oh, Ant-Man.
He hasn't found a hammer yet. Guys, all right, no Paul Rudd talk, all right? Carry on.
I didn't say anything of that.
So he calls out bolts of lightning. Then he falls on his knees. He starts screaming, doesn't he? Then he sends out a wall of fire towards the Trolloc host.
And earthquake to eat.
Oh yeah, it's just immense. It's just like imagine the earth rolling like a wave.
That's crazy. I know. You see it
with fire and flames. Through the fire and the flames we carry on.
And there's one moment where the Trolloc army sees that coming to him. He goes, "Oh, I'm dead."
What's that?
And he basically just takes off. And not only does he just, eviscerate the Drakkar, take out half the Dark Forces army, it's all done in front of Agelmar's host. So they're witnessing, isn't that the farmer boy from, oh shit, oh yeah, go farmer boy, and
Well, they don't actually recognize him, do they? Because they just say like a man appeared.
a man,
just
yeah, but
obliterated him.
Don't they start to recognize him after? We'll get to that.
I'm not sure. I don't think they did, but yeah. But yeah, this is the moment where the stairway to heaven suddenly appears.
Yeah,
and
cue Robert Plant.
Yep, and then Rand just walks up the stairway, and then he confronts Beelzebub.
One thing I wanted to note, as he's walking up the stairway, he keeps using Tam's flame in the void technique. So, if things couldn't get crazier, he's literally walking up a stairway of light, up into God knows where, but he's able to channel in the flame in the void to keep himself anchored. And we'll find that Tam's teachings help Rand out at certain points in the story. And here's one of those points where he seems to be doing all this badass shit with what appears to be magic, although he's still a little unleery about it. But he can ground himself and use his father's teachings. So it's a combination of whatever power he may have with whatever teachings he learned as a boy growing up to make him become the person that he's going to be. So this is another one of those points where he uses the flame in the void
To protect himself.
Yes.
Yeah. And yeah, so he climbs up, goes into some weird mythical tower, and confronts Beelzebub. And Beelzebub's such a dick.
Oh yeah. He's like,
yeah, because he's saying like, I'm the father of lies, and then he starts showing him, saying you've got to kneel before me. He shows Egwene and Nynaeve wearing crowns, and then he also shows his mum.
Yes, that's the worst one.
Yeah, it's so savage. And when Beelzebub realizes that, he just dismisses the images of the other two, and starts having Rand's mum pleading with Rand, saying, "You must spell for him. He's torturing me."
I know. Then the Trollocs descend upon her and do unspeakable things to Kari.
Not the pineapple.
Oh.
Oh, not the pineapple.
No. I can't respond to that.
I think that might be it. I'm pretty sure it's a South Park joke somewhere.
That has so many meanings. Well, the one thing that Rand keeps saying to Beelzebub, he simply just keeps saying it has to end. And he says that like over and over and over again. It has to end. It has to end.
Yeah.
While Beelzebub is doing all this shtick to Rand, he also notices that Beelzebub has a black cord attached to him, although his is massive. And
yeah, he's connected into the dark web.
Yes. It's a pulsing, thick black cord. Sorry, but that's what it was.
He's got that and a pineapple. this is one scary place.
Oh, God.
Now we're finished with the pineapple. Here's my black cord.
Oh my God.
So yeah, he's so Rand notices it, and then just while Beelzebub's in some sort of weird evil person monologue.
Yes, he's monologuing. That's true.
I'm the father of lies. I'm this.
You can be second behind me, bad Neil. Then he gives the whole he kneel to me, the blah blah blah, be second in the world. We can rule this place.
And Rand just goes for the cord with the old heron marked blade.
Is it a heron marked blade or is it a sword of pure light?
He summons a sword of pure light and then just severs the cord.
Well, as soon as the sword appeared in his hands, Beelzebub for the first time is, oh shit, I may have overstepped this one. And Rand takes a whack at the cord, and then he's like, no, you can't do that, you fool, you'll destroy it. And he just shoots him with a bolt of light from the sword. So think of like Legend of Zelda, when the sword is fully charged, and he just fires it. Pew, pew, pew. So there's your video game reference.
Cutting grass all over the place.
Cutting grass. There's pineapple juice in his pulsing black cord. But Rand, yeah.
Yeah, we don't know where we're going with this joke.
Sorry, yeah, there's no end to this. So he shoots him with a bolt of light from the sword, and Beelzebub bursts into just nothingness and dust.
Yep. Everything around him bursts as well, and then Rand just suddenly falls into just falls into nothingness. Yeah. And then that leads us into the next chapter 52.
And now, the Taviren present to you Readings with Rob.
Chapter 51, Against the Shadow. The void boiled in his mind. His sword was in his hand. Not the heron-marked blade, but the blade of light. A blade of the light. Even as he raised it, a fiery white bolt shot from the point, as if the blade itself had reached out. It touched the nearest fade, and blinding incandescence filled the chamber, shining through the halfmen like a candle through paper, burning them both, burning through them, blinding his eyes to the scene. From the midst of the brilliance, he heard a whisper. "Thank you, my son. The light. The blessed light." The flash faded, and he was alone in the chamber with Baalzamon. Baalzamon's eyes burned like the pit of doom, but he shied back from the sword as if it were truly the light itself. "Fool! You will destroy yourself! You cannot wield it so! Not yet! Not until I teach you!" "It is ended," Rand said, and he swung the sword at Baalzamon's black cord. Baalzamon screamed as the sword fell, screamed till the stone walls trembled, and the endless howl redoubled as the blade of light severed the cord. The cut ends rebounded apart as if they had been under tension. The end stretching into the nothingness outside began to shrivel as it sprang away. The other whipped back into Baalzamon, hurling him against the fireplace. There was silent laughter in the soundless shrieks of the tortured faces. The walls shivered and cracked. The floor heaved, and chunks of stone crashed to the floor from the ceiling. As all broke apart around him, Rand pointed the sword at Baalzamon's heart. "It is ended." Light lanced from the blade, coruscating in a shower of fiery sparks like droplets of molten white metal. Wailing, Baalzamon threw up his arms in a vain effort to shield himself. Flames shrieked in his eyes, joined with other flames as the stone ignited. The stone of the cracking walls, the stone of the pitching floor, the stone showering from the ceiling. Rand felt the bright thread attached to him thinning, till only the glow itself remained. But he strained harder, not knowing what he did or how, only that it had to be ended. It has to be ended. Fire filled the chamber, a solid flame. He could see Baalzamon withering like a leaf, hearing him howl, feel the shrieks grating on his bones. The flame became pure white light, brighter than the sun. Then the last flicker of the thread was gone, and he was falling through endless black and Baalzamon's fading howl.
That was Readings with Rob. If there's a passage in an upcoming chapter you wish to have read on the podcast, simply tweet us at TavirenPod with your request.
There is neither beginning nor end.
Yes, and we start with Rand sort of basically waking up like a child. He's like,
Oh yes, that's it. And it's
I'm Rand.
It's,
What am I doing? Oh yes.
In the
Nothing.
I'm
field.
hurt. It's that one meme of the kid from The Simpsons in the back of the bus. I seem to be in danger.
Yes. Why can I taste pineapple? And he can just see a pile of ash.
No.
He could just see a pile of ash on the floor, which is
He does. He's like, who am I? My name is Rand. Ow, I hurt. Where am I?
I bet my Wookiee. Yeah, and you can see like the pile of ash on the floor that used to be Agonor, and you can see a bit of his cloak. So he assumes it was the burnt remains of her.
Well, the first thing the first memory that comes back to him is he sees the sword, his heron-marked blade, and then he's like, "Oh wait, that's my dad's sword. Oh wait, my name is Rand." Then his next is like, "Oh wait, I like someone named Egwene." It's like these things are slowly coming back to him. And
I did really bad things to that sheep on Winter's Night. Hey,
that queen was kind of hot too.
It's lonely in the woods. So yeah, he suddenly remembers as well that he suddenly killed Shaitan, and he's just like, Shaitan.
Oh,
Rand
okay.
actually starts. He suddenly starts running off, saying, "Oh, Shaitan's dead."
Yeah, I did it. We're
you can name the
good.
Dark One because there's no need for caution anymore.
Oh, that's right, Voldemort.
Voldemort's dead. Woo. So with effort, he gets up to his feet, and then he starts running down the hill, which is like definitely a dumb thing to do.
Well, the one thing when he comes back to the party I have here, he sees everybody, and one of the comments that he has to himself is that Nynaeve's eyes are what he called haunted, and Moiraine was worse for wear worse for wear. He realized that she was in a struggle, but she was alive, but she's lying prone on the floor with Nynaeve tending her. But Nynaeve had haunted eyes. So I made a note of that.
Yeah, so maybe they had pineapples as well.
Hey, Lan was passed out, so who knows what she did then.
Now's my chance.
No.
Oh, that's why they call you Seven Tails. Yes. So, what happens next?
After recalling what actually happened, Rand realized that he actually channeled the One Power. So when Moiraine asked Rand to recount the events with Agenor and Balsamon, she seems to compel him to speak. It was one of those things where even though she seemed injured and lying down, I think in that moment, she may have actually used the One Power on Rand to compel him. Because she was like, speak, say it now, do it. And, he just blabs everything. Did Moiraine use the one?
It's important to note that he's only talking to Moiraine, Nynaeve, and Egwene here. Yes,
right. The men haven't come back yet. She sent them to scavenge what they could from the cave where the eye was. So and as the men make their way back, he's like, please don't tell him. Please don't tell him.
Please don't tell him that I can channel the One Power, because that's generally frowned upon. I don't want to be. Please leave my balls alone.
But then Rand says, to Moiraine, you can help me. You can help me work with this and craft it and not go crazy, right? And then that's when she kind of explains the difference between Sidae and Sidane. I forget the exact references, but she says something like, I'd rather be able to. It'd be easier to teach a fish to fly, or a bird, or a dog to meow like a cat, or something to that effect.
Fish to fly is like saying the Amryn Sea would say.
Yeah, that's true.
Anyway, sorry. Spoilers for 3 books away.
What the Amberlin is and her background. But, now that he realizes what he has done, his fear is that Moiraine will now try to, as you put it in the last chapter, last episode, gentle him, like Bob Barker spayed new to your pets.
Yep, like you would do to your pets.
Yeah. She has no plans to do so. She says, the pattern is not finished with you. Now, Rand fears that Moiraine will use him as a tool. That was one of the things that Balsamon kept teasing him with. The witches at Tar-Valon will use you like a tool. And when she tells him, we're not done with you yet, or the pattern's not done with you yet, that's where he's like, shit.
I know.
Now, can we talk about what's in the eye?
What is in the eye? What's in the eye?
Not pineapple juice this time.
Stop it.
Sorry. So yes, the boys return with all the stuff from the eye, and there's a weird little plaque with the flame of Tar-Valon on it, and Moiraine asks Lan to slam it with a knife, and not a fragment breaks off of this little circle thing, and she explains that it's called Salindair.
Quindalar. I don't know. We might hear about that one. Actually, let me see if it's in the back with the pronunciation. I thought it was like
which has a simpler name of Heartstone, and
Quain de Yar. I'm literally looking at the pronunciation in the back of the book, and I still can't get it.
Yeah, and once it's made, it can't be broken.
Just like
Captain America's shield.
Nope, just like me.
But
I'm kidding.
You're a heart of stone, Rich.
Yeah.
Anyway, this is our time to talk about. They find the crypt of Paul Rudd also in the eye, and it's amazing
doesn't die. You're killing.
It's a very tiny coffin, but then they open it and he wakes up, and they find out that Paul Rudd is the creator, and he brought Bella to the land to help bring balance to the world. How much farther can I go with this?
I try to think here. Paul Rudd. What else can we say about Paul Rudd?
Paul Rudd.
And he's the savior of the world.
Oh wait, no. Oh,
Paul Rudd.
Sorry,
2020.
Sorry, Bill. We were kind of rewriting the end of the book there a little bit.
I know. Right. Anyway, carry on. Sorry.
Well, actually, I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think when Lan slams the knife into the piece of stone,
it's a broken piece.
Yeah, some piece chips off, and the knife like bends or breaks, and And Lan looks at it as a stupid, high quality knife. And then Moraine goes on to say, this is one of the Dark One's seals on his prison. And maybe you can help me with this. I think the seals are there. It's hard to explain. They're not really sealing anything. So that was kind of one of the more visual things I was trying to work through with my brain. It's more of a ceremonial seal where if it breaks, he becomes free, or if there's 7 of them or 5 of them. I forget how many there were. But it's more of a ceremonial thing because they're just pieces of stone. They're not really sealing anything, correct?
Yes, correct. But as they break, it shows that he is breaking free.
They're weakening.
Yeah.
So it's more of a symbolic nature.
And then what's in the box?
The second item is the freaking horn of Valair. I have literally my notes say here, the freaking horn of Valair. So we can ignore the entire second book because there's no need for a great hunt. Found it.
Yeah.
So the entire second book we're going to skip. Right?
Please don't. I love that one.
Again, that item's important. You better hold on to that one.
I'm sure nothing good happens in that second book anyway. So
everything good happens in that second book.
It's the best one.
Well, upon seeing what it is, Moraine then finally states and gives us a little precursor to the next book that they need to make their way to the country of Ilion, which is apparently where the hunt is going to start. So she's trying to kill the buzz over there. Don't worry, we found it. It's right here. Got it. Everybody can stay home. Kind of a buzzkill there. The final item, Bill, why don't you go us through the third item that they find?
The banner.
Hello, we're doing a book podcast. How you doing?
Sorry. Well, once you've activated Horn,
all the pineapple juice, right?
Who cares about the sparkly banner? Yes, there's a big dragon banner, which was the banner of Louis Therin of Telemon.
Louis Therin himself. It's one of those things where like they unfurl it, and I think Matt was the one like, oh shit, or blood and bloody ashes. Is that really that? So it's funny. I thought the Horde of Valair would have been the last item, but they went with the banner of the Lord Dragon as being the third and most important item of that trifecta.
It will become important at some point. Yeah. So Moraine says, right, we should all have a nice sleep. Because with the Green Man gone, there's no one to hold back the blight. So might as well make its way through. Might as well make use of it while we've still got a bit of greenery. When asks if it, Rand asks Moraine if it's done, and she tells him that what they do is now finished. So from now on, he may live as the pattern weaves, which is kind of what's been going on anyway. So. Pretty much the pattern's been pulling him all over the place. So, yeah, but I think we also, is this, it's the next chapter we get the bit with Loyal, isn't it?
Yes, this is the last note I have is Moraine saying they all need to camp for the night. And now that the Green Man is dead, the blight will start to take over his green landscapes. But
that pretty much brings an end to this chapter. And one of the mysteries that was revealed in this thing, or resolved, was how Bella could keep up with all the other horses.
That's right. Was that this chapter?
Yeah, Moraine mentions it.
Oh, that's right.
When they're having their little chat, she goes, "Yeah, basically, you were like subconsciously healing Bella."
That was when she first realized Rand had some special abilities,
or at least one of the boys.
Yeah, he was willing. I remember that he was willing Bella to keep up with everybody because Bella was carrying Egwene. And not only did Bella keep up with everybody, at the end of the chase, she didn't need any healing as Mandarb and Aldiv needed, and the other horses.
And also, this is where Lan then says, he then officially offers to teach Rand how to use his Heron Mark blade.
Oh, that's right.
Teaches him a bit more. Which brings us into chapter 53.
The wheel turns.
And now, the Taviren present to you Readings with Rob.
Chapter 52. There is neither beginning nor end. The flattened cube of gold and silver appeared to be solid, but the Aes Sedai's fingers felt across the intricate work, pressing, and with a sudden click, a top flung back as if on springs. A curled gold horn nestled within. Despite its gleam, it seemed plain besides the chest that held it. The only markings were a line of silver script inlaid around the mouth of the bell. Moiraine lifted the horn out as if lifting a babe. "This must be carried to Ilion," she said softly. "Ilion?" Perrin growled. "That's almost to the Sea of Storms, nearly as far south as home as we are north now." "Is it?" Doyle stopped to catch his breath. "Can it be?" "You can read the old tongue?" Moiraine asked. When he nodded, she handed him the horn. The Ogier took it as gently as she had, delicately tracing the script with one broad finger. His eyes went wider and wider, and his ears stood straight up. "Tia mi aven, morindin asiande vadin," he whispered. "The grave is no bar to my call." The Horn of Valere. For once the warder appeared truly shaken. There was a touch of awe in his voice. At the same time, Nynaeve said in a shaky voice, "To call the hero of the ages back from the dead to fight the Dark One." "Burn me," Mat breathed. Loyal reverently laid the horn back in its golden nest. "I begin to wonder," Moiraine said. "The eye of the world was made against the greatest need of the world would ever face, but it was made for the use to which we put it, or to guard these things. Quickly the last. Show it to me." After the first two, Rand could understand Perrin's reluctance. Lan and the Ogier took the bundle of white cloth from him when he hesitated, and unfolded it between them. A long white banner spread out, lifting on the air. Rand could only stare. The whole thing seemed of a piece, neither woven nor dyed nor painted. A figure like a serpent, scaled in scarlet and gold, ran the entire length, but it had scaled legs, and feet with 5 long golden claws on each, and a great head with a golden mane and eyes like the sun. The stirring of the banner made it seem to move. Scales glittering like precious metals and gems. Alive. He almost thought he could hear it roar defiance. "What is it?" he said. Moiraine answered slowly. "The banner of the Lord of the Morning, when he led the forces of light against the shadow. The banner of Luz Therin Telemon, the banner of the dragon." Loyal almost dropped his head. "Burn me," Mat said faintly.
That was Readings with Rob. If there's a passage in an upcoming chapter you wish to have read on the podcast, simply tweet us at TavirenPod with your request.
So they wake up the next morning and they notice that the blight has almost taken over the entire Green Man's garden and has started affecting the Green Man's grave. And this is where our man Loyal steps up. He said, "Not if Loyal can help it."
It takes a long time to do it, though.
Well, yeah, that's the general nature we'll find of Ogier. But he does a bit of magic that the Ogier call the tree song. And he cast a protection over the grave. And he said it will forever be protected from the blight. So, good job, Loyal.
Good job, Loyal. Yeah,
Good
he said
job.
the blight will not take him, tree brother.
No, it will not.
And there's not really a lot that happens here, really. They kind of just they leave the blight. Yeah, leave the
Posturing for
blight.
the next book.
Start noticing that spring's starting to arrive, and that the blight doesn't look as bad as it did before. They make their way back to Agamar.
You notice that the way when they made their way back, none of the crap that was bugging them on the way up messed with them at all.
Yeah, they all sort of have like a weird sort of sixth sense feeling that something's changed.
I think Rand even says that the 7 towers of Malkir seemed even taller.
Yeah, Rand gets a weird vision where he can see flags on top of them as well,
with golden cranes on them.
Yeah, which is really strange.
I know.
But yeah, Moiraine says we basically dealt a hefty blow to the Dark One today. And
still remember, Rand doesn't know this is a 14-book epic. So in Rand's mind, he's like, "Hey, everything's done. I'm going home," or maybe go with that, going to Tarvalon and see what that's all about. But he's thinking the worst is over. We're good.
Yeah, even as they start reaching Faldara, people start telling about the victory of Tarwin's Gap.
The week-long festive celebration, which sounds awesome. I want to be a part of a week-long party.
Mm-hmm. And it's all pretty good.
Yeah. And then, when they came back to the town, it was only the soldiers, because in one of the earlier chapters, all the residents left town in case the Tarwin's Gap battle went south. So all the refugees were making their way back to Faldara, but when they descended upon the city, the party had started, but it was just Agelmar and his host that was in the city at that time. And they were talking about, hey, the miracle, the weird man came by, and lightning and fire and rolling earth, and took us to victory.
The man took on flesh and fought.
Light became flesh and tore the dark forces asunder. And
the Creator walked in the gap.
Yes, he did.
And Moraine being Moraine just says, wheel wheels. The wheel weaves as the wheel wheels.
And she does tell him, though, but please keep defenses staunch. We never know what's going to happen. So that's Moraine's realization that this is going to be a 14-book epic, and let's not count our chickens before they hatch. The Horn of Valair.
That's
so
right.
Agelmar, they show Agelmar the Horn of Valair, which I think is okay with him, but I hope going forward it's not one of those things where they're walking around, hey, look what we got, woohoo, look at this, the horn, woohoo. It's probably best to keep an article of that import to themselves.
Yeah, just not say anything about that.
I know.
Yeah. Because he wants to use it, doesn't he?
Don't blow your own horn, right?
He wants to go right up to Shalgor and use it.
She does ask Agelmar for an escort to help them to get to Ilion, which, if you're not familiar with the map of Randland, is completely in the opposite direction. They are very much in the northeastern part of the Randland map, and they need to now get to the complete, almost southeastern part of the map. So it'll be a little bit of a trek if they're going to go all the way south to Ilion. My next note says, a week later, while still in Faldara, we fast forward now, and Rand is training sword fighting with Lan. Although impressed, Lan is still quick to keep Rand in his place. I think he drops 3 sheep herders in this scene. So I think Lan is definitely going to be going for the league lead in calling Rand a sheep herder.
Oh, I'm sure.
At least until we get some more Min chapters.
Oh, I can't wait for him to return.
I love the Min Rand banter. It's the best. In the last few, paragraphs of this book, we get posturing of everybody kind of getting set up for what they expect, what they believe is going to be happening in the next book. Egwene meets up with Rand. Yeah, I'm sorry, what was that?
Sorry, I was just going to say, Egwene meets up with Rand, all that sort of stuff. And then the most important bit, which we suddenly change, and the book ends with Moraine's point of view. But I think we'll leave that to Rich.
Oh, yeah.
To take us out on that one. Yeah, Rich?
Yes.
I think the passage you've been told to read is the one that I would have picked.
Yep, let's not talk about it. Here is Readings with Rich.
Welcome to Readings with Rich. I'm going to read to you guys the final paragraph of the book, The Wheel of Time, The Eye of the World. Come along with me to this journey. In Agamemnon's private garden, under a thick bower dotted with white blossoms, Moraine shifted in her bedchair. The fragments of the seal lay on her lap, and the small gem she sometimes wore in her hair spun and glittered on its gold chain at the ends of her fingers. The faint blue glow faded from the stone, and a smile touched her lips. It had no power in itself, the stone, with the first use she ever learned of the one power as a girl in the royal palace of Carthan was using the stone to listen to people when they thought they were too far off to be overheard. The prophecies will be fulfilled, the Aes Sedai whispered. The dragon is reborn. Thank you guys for listening to the final chapter of The Eye of the World in the first book of Wheel of Time.
Yay! And there it was. Your first ever Readings with Rich.
Yeah.
I think we'll do that as a tradition. We'll end each book like that.
Well, let's just preface that by saying you probably realized that there was Reading with Rob for the first 2 chapters, and then we piled into Readings with Rich.
That's right.
Okay, so yeah, that brings an end to the book. So I think, guys, we should do
book one.
end
Correct.
book one. So we should do a recall episode at one point and go over the book as a whole and how we felt about it.
Yes.
Sure.
But yeah, that's it. That's it for this week.
I will go ahead and update my counters and tack on the end of our book synopsis. We our final tally of counters for book one.
Good stuff. Yep. So that's it for this week. Hopefully we'll be back soon with the next one. I think we might take a little break as well between books.
Got to practice on our singing.
Yeah. Should we say 2 weeks?
Sure.
Or do you want 3 weeks?
Sure. Whatever works.
Yep. So we're going to have a 2 week break. Maybe come back with our review episode, and then we'll start book 2, The Great Hunt.
That'd be season 2.
Guys, I am really thirsty, and I've got to go back to work.
That's fine. I'll let everybody know at Taviren Pod. That's right. At Taviren Pod. TavirenPod@gmail.com. Discord, YouTube, Patreon, Redbubble, Instagram. If there's I think Bill's even on, or Rich is even on Tinder, right? Taviren on Tinder. That you, Rich?
Yep, that's me.
Okay,
that's me. Yeah.
And Bill,
it's just pictures of his feet, though.
Yes.
All right, guys. Yeah,
He's holding a pineapple with his feet.
I'm going to go order me a pineapple smoothie. I don't know why, but I am.
Yeah. I'm going to Agamor's Inn.
The Agamor Inn.
Yeah, I'm going to get myself a pineapple cocktail.
You guys are ate up.
My mouth.
All right, guys. This was a great ride. I can't wait to see what transpires in the Great Hunt. See you on the other side, everyone.
Bye.
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 Now that our heroic trio have left the familiar confines of the two rivers, they find themselves being chased by all sorts of denizens of the Dark One. Our party has been scattered, and the boys separated from Moraine and Lan. Let us hope that luck, or some other force, can keep them safe. Bill? Billiam! Put that dagger down! You have no idea where in creation that's been. No, Rich. I don't have an extra cloak with me. Maybe if you didn't ride your horse straight into the Arenelle, you wouldn't have this problem, For crying out loud, Robert, I know that girl from Berlon said weird things to you, but you shouldn't let it get under your skin so much. What are you, 11? You all remind me of a younger version of myself. Why, back in Watch Hill, I would...
This has been a presentation
of the We Can Make This Work
Probably Network.
Follow us on Twitter
@ProbablyWork for more of our questionable content.
Also, we have a website called probablywork.com.